The following is a rebroadcast of TV50's Candlepin Stars and Strikes. WNDS Sports and Tri-State Megabucks present Candlepin Stars and Strikes.
Oh, look at this. Look at it. He got it. Ready for a fair.
Candlepin Stars and Strikes is sponsored in part by Milwaukee Kent Toyota Dodge Nissan.
Looks good. Looks good. That's good to go. It's a
Candlepin Stars and Strikes is produced in conjunction with the New Hampshire Candlepin Bowling Association. And now your hosts, Doug Brown and Dan Murphy.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to semifinal week here on Candlepin Stars and Strikes. Once again, we're coming to you from the Park Place Lanes here in Windham, New Hampshire. So glad that you could take time to join us today. Doug Brown along with Dan Murphy. Semifinals, and we have number 1, number 2, and number 5 left in this sequence. Number 1, of course, will be here next week, Dan Broder. Today, Jack Saniuk against Dave Richards.
Yeah, Dave's got all he can handle this week. And again, Jack Saniuk, another quality Candlepin bowler, and haven't been real big scores, but they've been close matches. And these two guys won't give up till the last ball is thrown.
All right, and they may take that. The last couple of weeks have gone right down to the last box. So let's meet our two bowlers. He's won 2 in a row. He's our number 5 seed from Plastow, New Hampshire, Dave Richards.
Okay, Dave's coming in averaging 127, high single of 191, and the all-important roll-off score, 652.
And last week, another close win for Dave. He beat Larry Valcourt with a 359. And the week before that, he knocked off John Plant coming from behind in the late boxes with a 345 to win that match. So now Dave goes for 3 in a row, and he will face our number 2 seed from Quincy, Massachusetts, Jack Saniuk.
Okay, and stats are very, very similar to Dave's. At average of 126, 199 for high single. His roll-off score, second highest in a roll-off at 670.
All right, of course, the winner of this match moves into next week's championship match and a shot at the Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions. So a lot at stake here today and a lot at stake in our bonus ball contest, which will be coming up at the end of the hour. $200 plus a couple of sets of brand new bowling balls from Paramount Industries. So we have lots of business to get to, and we will start getting to it right after we get to these messages. Don't go away. All right, as we get ready to begin the semifinal match here, Dave Richards from the number 5 spot with that 652 roll-off score. The 2 wins against number 4, John Plant, and number 3, Larry Valcourt. And now he takes a shot at our number 2 seed, Jack Saniuk. The winner of this match comes back next week to roll in the championship match against Dan Broder for the 6th and final spot in the Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions. Welcome, glad to have you with us.
And a huge crowd on hand today.
Oh, look out. It's coming this way. Not enough on the 1 and 2. Dave had time to study it and just slips by the head pin. It's interesting, you look at the score, Dan, from last week for Dave Richards, 359. That was 14 pins better than his score from the week before, but last week he had 4 more marks. But he did have problems filling the marks. 3, several 4s, a 5 fill.
Now he's looking at the 2 and the 8. Piece of wood, he's got to come up high and just enough to catch the 8 pin. Didn't have a real good angle on that piece of wood, but it was enough just to nick the 8 pin with a spare.
And say hello to Jack Saniuk. Jack's been with us on a fairly regular basis in doubles competition, but the last time he was here in singles was back in February of 1991.
Must have been a long time because he just backed up enough to fall off the approach here. That step was there back in 91 too, Jack. It was by the head pin, and now he'll pick up those 3 for a nice $10.
Jack from Quincy, Mass. Works as a division comptroller for State Street Bank.
Off target to the right, half Worcester right. 3 and 9 pins are gone.
Oh my.
Turned away, you knew. Exact same spot. Now you just try to scramble and get as many as he can with his third ball. And it's just a couple more.
$5.
3 more.
Dave Richards now to fill that spare. Right there. Big 9 drop. The 10 pin remains.
And he has a choice. He can see the 10 pin clean or the wood. There's no doubt in my mind what I would do.
Well, maybe Dave's thinking about it a little bit. There's the picture. He can get by.
One problem is thinking a little too much.
Now, was there ever any doubt? If there's any doubt in your mind what might happen, better to play it the safe way.
Dave has a little rocker step back and forth before he starts his approach. Kind of unique to his style. Watch and see if we can pick it up.
On the 1, 3, 7, and 10. Right about there.
And hard to tell with the ball return there, but
and the 8. 52 through 4. Jack Saniuk back on the head pin, and he'll take
he might
the
get
9
them all. Oh. Now the wood is turned a little bit. Let's see, they're both pieces of wood are looking at him.
Yes. First mark for Jack. Somewhat surprising that Jack Saniuk has never been in the Tournament of Champions.
That's right. Of course, Jack, the son of Mike Saniuk, a Hall of Fame Candlepin bowler.
Actually, the last time Jack was here back in '91 in singles competition, he came very close to making the Tournament of Champions. He posted a 372 and then watched Tim Lipke come up with 37 pins in the last 2 boxes to beat him by 7 in a series championship match. The week before, Jack had thrown a 428 to win the semifinals against Brian McKinley. Dave Richards kicks them all. Looked for a moment like it might be a split, and then it got better in a hurry. The 6-7. Kicking out for the strike. And what do you know?
He kicks out the 1 and the 5 this time. Oh my. I wonder how that can happen. So just a 5 fill on the strike.
Not a bad out. 8.
So 75 through 6. 2 spares and a strike on Dave Richards' side of the ledger. Jack Saniuk just 1 spare in the 3rd. Try the 4th, the 5th, and 6th boxes right here for Jack, and that's not going to be an easy one. 6, 7, and 9. Piece of wood out in front of the 7, but I don't think that's going to help him. He's going to try it though.
We are just 2 weeks away now from the Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions. Of course, the singles event will begin 2 weeks from today, April the 27th.
He gets the 1-5.
let me correct that. April the 24th is 2 weeks from today. Saturday, April 23rd is the start of the Doubles Tournament of Champions. Both events, of course, presented by Tri-State Megabucks. Just imagine. Tri-State Megabucks. $7 for Jack, so he can't take advantage of the 8 in the 6th. And Dave Richards has that 22-pin lead.
Dave just touched the head pin. Maybe that's what they have to do. Just barely caught the head pin and drops 9, leaving just the 8 pin. And a nice piece of wood next to it. Just wants to avoid the front pieces. No problem. His 4th mark now. 3 spares and a strike in his first game.
Well, first 2 weeks, David had a little trouble over on lane 32, but today doesn't seem to have any trouble. That's 3 times in a row he's marked over there. And his problem right now is punching through on 31.
A little more speed, a little less speed, something to change the angle of the ball hitting the pins. Move left to right a couple boards, forward and back on the approach, something to give him just a little different angle coming in, because he's certainly on the object pin. 97 now through 8. One, 3, 6, and the 7. Piece of wood next to the 6 pin, but shouldn't come into play.
No.
That close.
Danced right around the 7 pin, but he'll have to settle for the $10. Much better first ball that time.
That was a little different there. He lofted that ball out a little further on the lane. Usually rolls the ball real smoothly. That time was out in front. Just changed that much of an angle on the head pin. Came in nice and tight in a 1-3 and got the 9-pin drop, and then eventually the spare.
His second. Dave Richards made the show by just 1 pin. He finished 5th. Don Richmond was 6th at 651. Just 1 pin behind, and now here's Dave in the semifinals.
And one behind Don Richmond was Mr. Barassa, who's been with us before. He was at 650, so very close roll-off scores.
Rick Barassa was just with us on doubles, in fact, a short time ago. Dave Richards on the spare.
Well, a little better than the 1-5 or the 1-5-8. Drops 7 this time. 2, 4, and 6 pins left.
A 9 and a 123 for Dave Richards. Now Jack Saniuk is working on a spare, but in order to cut further into the lead, he'll have to come up with at least 1 more spare in the final 2, or at least 1 more mark. A 7 drop on this one.
7, 8, 10. But where the wood is,
looks
makeable shot.
Yep.
Yeah. You have to watch the ball doesn't fly over the piece of wood in front of the 7 and the 8. That's exactly what it did. Never touched that piece of wood in front of the 7. Actually flew up and knocked down the 8 pin. He wanted it to use that wood to get both the 7 and the 8.
We may be here a while, waiting for this to stop spinning. There it goes. The 10. Now Jack is going to trail by more than 20 unless he can put a mark up here in the 10th.
Now let's see, that time he laid that ball right down on the lane instead of lofting it out. Came in full on the head pin, spread eagle. Needs these 3 to just have an even 100 game.
He gets them. So 100 for Jack Saniuk. That makes the math real easy. It'll be a 23-pin lead for Dave Richards at the end of 1. Game 2 coming up, and details on our bonus ball contest. Don't go anywhere. Jack Saniuk trying to pull himself out of a 23-pin hole here in Game 2 and almost came up with a great shot to start it. Jack was joking between the games during the break. He said, I waited 3 years for that, a 100 game.
That's the right attitude to have, though.
That's right.
You get upset, just get back up and fire away. He'll fight for 30 boxes. 3, 6, 4, 7.
Well, had the idea, just didn't carry. Boy, he was going for it. The 6-7 on the third ball. Dave Richards looking for his 3rd win in a row. Remember, we have not had anyone below a number 3 seed advance to the Tournament of Champions this season. Oh, big spare. Fine shot by Dave Richards. The 4 horseman is difficult enough, as you know, and then when you add the 9-pin, actually did that really the easy way. The head pin went down and took out the 9, and he was still able to carry the rest.
He drops 7, leaves the 1, 7, 8. Piece of wood next to the 8-pin in the back. Another one just to the left of the head pin. I can't help but think that little skip. He dropped that ball, a little skip before, or just as he released the ball. He missed the wood, but he works it out for a 10. 27, he increases his lead by 9 more, 32.
Next weekend, of course, our last week of the regular season. Saturday at noon, this Saturday at noon, the 16th of April, we will have the final show in our 4-week skin series that we've been having so much fun with. Hope you've enjoyed it. And next Sunday here at 12 noon, of course, the championship match to determine our last qualifier into the Tournament of Champions. Jack takes a 9.
Wow.
And the wood goes away, too.
4, 7, and 10. Just got to slap the 4-pin. Hopefully the 4 or the 7 come off the wall. Yep. A little applause there for a nice try.
Well, of course, the other way to make that is we talked about, what was it last week? Just try and hit it hard and snap the curtain.
Yeah. There's the third way. Try the reset button. Except that doesn't count.
Well, Dave went full that time, but he got away with it, and look at the leave.
6-10.
Mark it down. And that, Dan, is 6 consecutive times that Dave now has marked on lane 32.
Difference a week or two makes, huh? Couldn't buy a mark 2 weeks ago until the last 3 or 4 boxes. And
it's actually pretty much completely turned around for him. He's only got 1 mark now here on lane 31.
Half a dozen here, leaves himself the 1, 2, 7, 10. On the outside, that close, but the 10-pin stands.
the $10, and that takes us to a break. Dave Richards in control for now, just at about the halfway point. Long way to go, though. We'll be back here on Stars and Strikes. Here's Jack Saniuk.
In a little bit of trouble right now is Jack.
39 pins worth.
Turned away from that one.
He's got only 2 marks in the match so far, both spares. Let's see if he can turn one here.
Oh, that's twice he almost made that shot. Last time he left the 10-pin stand, and this time the 8. Works out of it for a 10. Let's see what happens to the 8. Or what doesn't happen. Nothing came close to hitting it.
The head pin stayed right in the middle of the lane. It really never moved much except to go back into the pit. Probably be better off with that pin up.
Probably,
but it falls.
Right.
That 2-pin might have helped this shot. Now it's going to be more difficult. It's the 1, 6, 8, and 10. It sounds like a tough shot, and it is. Let's see. Nope, Jack knew he had misfired. He's trying to hit the left side of the number 1 and just went a little too far left.
And it's just 7, so it's 54 now through 6.
Dave Richards. Well, let's see. He's marked 6 times in a row here on lane 32.
Got a nice break last time on a full hit, but not this time. Spread eagle.
Wow. Oh, almost kept it alive. $10, a nice 10 after the spread eagle. Let's watch it. He tends to do it the same way every time. He'll clip the 4-pin with the 3, sending it over. And
oh, that piece of wood was rolling back up toward the 3-pin. Second piece of wood twisted a little bit and leaves just a 3. Chance for another spare, though. Whoa.
Oh my, that wood was not frozen, and you probably heard Dave's reaction. He groaned when he let that one go.
Let's see if he takes it out in his towel. I always like to watch that.
It's the towel's fault, wasn't it?
Right. No.
Jack Saniuk looking for something to break the drought here.
Oh, wow. The 6, actually the 4. 4, 10. A rocking 10. But it's still up.
Yeah, and with that wood over by the 10-pin, it really doesn't do him much good. Jack fights it out, though, for a $10. You mentioned he'll hang in there and hope that it turns eventually for him, but he trails by 42 right now.
He can bowl on my team anytime. I like guys that are really tough. They just keep coming at you, and hopefully it will break. Sometimes it does, other times it doesn't.
Well, what about the extreme right tip of this wood? What do you think?
Well, it would have been better, but it rolled up and hit the edge of the lane and turned a little bit.
I guess you'd want him on your golf team too, huh?
He is a good golfer. He played his first par round last summer.
Wow.
And it wasn't with the talking whale and the windmill either. It was a real golf course.
Wow.
But he did say he didn't do any bowling last summer. And
well, it probably would have screwed up his golf game.
Yeah, he said he won't do that again. He'll make sure he joins at least one league. And as you take a couple months off, it's hard to get the timing back.
Well, see, now you know, though, having been a veteran of enough scrambles and benefit tournaments and so forth, that sometimes it's best not to have somebody with a low handicap on your team.
That's true.
But but it's still fun to watch them play, isn't it?
Oh. They're usually never in trouble, and they got a shot at the green all the time. And they're never in help me look for my ball in the woods. And a 9-box for Dave. So quietly, he's built this 41-pin lead. Hasn't been anything fantastic, but enough to put him into a commanding lead right now anyways.
Well, he gets a nice break there. Everything but the 4-pin.
He's got to be thinking now. He just missed a single pin last time up on lane 31. Concentrate a little more this time. No problem.
That is mark number 8 for Dave Richards. All but one have been spares. Jack Saniuk still with just 2 marks. He's gone 10 boxes in a row now without marking, carrying over from the first game, and he finally gets a break, and it's a big break. It'll be a strike. I was going to give him a 10 instead of a strike. 10 with 1 ball. That's a strike, right?
Yes. You got the crowd big ovation when he threw that one. A little heavy this time. Let's see, 3, 6, 7.
Possibilities here. The wood out front. Well, he goes the other way and just misses.
This is going to be a rough day when you when you start cutting shots like that and not making them. Makes for a long afternoon sometimes.
103 for Jack. 203 total for 2. And Dave now with an opportunity to add to his lead, which is already over 40. Takes 7 on the spare.
And the little triangle in the right-hand corner, 6, 9, 10, no wood.
Got it, even though the ball skipped on him a little bit. 2 in a row for Dave. So that should help negate the strike by Jack Saniuk in the 9th. A 5 fill.
Next week, as we mentioned, the number 1 seed will be coming in.
Oh, what a shot! What a shot by Dave Richards. Well, he's been threatening to make one of those for 3 weeks now, and he finally did.
Earlier in the match, he almost made the spread eagle. This time he does get some help with the 2-pin. Piece of wood swinging around. As I started to say, number 1 seed next week, Dan Broder from Bow, New Hampshire, will be coming in. And one of these 2 bowlers, or possibly Dan, will be the next Tournament of Champion qualifier.
129 for Dave Richards, a spectacular spare in the 10th. 252 to 203. We'll see if Jack Saniuk has a comeback available in our 3rd game when we come back.
Okay, as I alluded to at the break, we have one of these 3 bowlers left, either Dave or Jack or possibly Dan Broder. Next week will join this crew, and what an awesome lineup. Joe Ashline at the top of the heap with that 441, followed by Peter Flynn, Paul Berger, John Batorsky, easy for me to say, and Mark Gregory. An awesome lineup in anyone's bowling center, I'll tell you, and one of these 3 bowlers that we have left is a welcome addition to those, so don't miss it.
The only thing we know for sure is that Mark Gregory will be in that first match. The only question is, whom will he be bowling against?
Correct.
Dave Richards with the big lead and a 9 drop to start the 3rd game. He leads by 49. But I'm sure uppermost in Dave's mind is the name of the guy he's bowling against.
Yeah, I wouldn't count him out. Although 49 pins is a tall order, but I'm sure Dave's not taking them lightly.
Spare in the 1st. That's 11 marks in 21 boxes now for Dave Richards. And another pocket hit and another 9 drop. This easily the sharpest he's been in the 3 weeks he's been here. 2 spares to start it. Jack Saniuk. Off the head pin, not too bad considering, but certainly not an easy shot. The 1, 4, 7, and 9.
A little bit of help for him in front of the 9 pin now.
Missed the object.
Yeah, you have to have that head pin. Needless to say, we've all seen Jack Saniuk a little sharper than he is today.
Well, if he comes back now, it's going to be a spectacular one.
Absolutely right.
Down 58 and opposite of mark in the second. But the thing you think of now is how capable is the bowler that's trailing of throwing strikes together. And certainly Jack Saniuk is capable of doing that. Couple of 10s.
Dave Richards will see if he can keep the streak alive. Started with two marks. This third and final game. Semi-final week.
Dave with just 5 that time. This was the shot he made earlier. Slightly different configuration of wood.
Wood maybe more of a help on this shot.
Tried it a different way this time, going inside. And a 9.
Hung that one out to the right. Actually came up on the delivery at the point of release that time and never got underneath the ball, so the ball was not going to break for him. Correction there.
Of the 3 bowlers who are left, Dan, Dave and Jack here today, and Dan Broder next week, only Dave has ever been in the Tournament of Champions. He was in it 2 years ago. Lost a very tough match in the semifinals.
So he'd been in it, so he'd probably let, if he wins, let Dan come in. Not. Not without a fight anyways. Oh boy, look at Jack. 5 and 7, and both pins are rocking, but he's going to have a shot. 2 ways, even inside, and clip both pieces of wood or pinch the 5 pin. I'm sure he's going to go at the 5.
There it is.
No problem there. It looked a lot worse than it was. However, he needs to string a lot of marks together. Nope, lost it to the right. 4 horsemen. That's a little better than he's been shooting at, really. He's got a piece of wood right behind the head pin, though.
The 10 box for Jack Saniuk, and we take a break. Dave Richards still with a commanding lead. 6 boxes to go. We'll see how it all turns out. See which one of these guys advances to the championship match next week after this timeout. Dave Richards has a 56-pin lead with 6 boxes to go. Two weeks ago in his first win, he had to come from behind in the last few boxes. And actually won that match 2 weeks ago when John Plant was unable to put up a mark in the final 2 to beat him. Then last week, Dave probably thought he had an easy ride at the finish, and then Larry Valcourt threw a scare into him with a strike in the 9th and a near double strike that would have made things pretty interesting. But now he has a big lead coming down toward the final boxes.
He's kicking out that extra pin. That time it looked like it was going to be the 3, 6, 10, and the 7 pin. The 7 pin was the last pin to go down, leaving just the 3, 6, 10. A little groan there from Dave. No, he missed it to the right. $73 now through 6 for Dave. 46 through 4 for Jack Saniuk. Still trailing by 56. He's got to have strikes.
Jack Saniuk with that 670 roll-off score finished second. Dan Broder, the number 1 seed, with a 694 to take that number 1 spot, and there's a fine spare by Jack.
1-3, 4-7, plays the ball on the inside. Ball hits the 4 pin. The 4 pin takes the 7.
Jack's just not on the head pin enough.
No.
So down to the final 4 now, with the lead an even 50. Well, Dave was predicting 2, he got 3. $8. Well, Dave put 3 marks together, the last one a spectacular one to end game 2, and then he started game 3 with 2 marks in a row to get the lead up over 60 at that time. Now he's gone into a bit of a drought, but that ends that. His second strike of the match.
And the strike is he kicks the 5 pin right there. Now they'll all start coming for Jack. I see. There he goes.
Well, he needs strikes together. That's what he needs, and more than 2, probably.
That was his first strike of the match, so second strike of the match.
And the 9. So down to the final 2. Dave Richards will most likely close out Jack Saniuk mathematically here in his final 2, and he, for the first time in 3 weeks, won't have to worry about it. Oh, yes, double strike, that'll do it. Wow.
You see just tripping the 4 pin for the double strike.
For the turkey? No.
Five, 6, 10. Piece of wood in front of the 6-10. It's like trying to hit the hole right between the. No. Oh, it came off the wall. Spare on strike.
148 plus a ball. Dave will be over 400.
He's 400 exactly right now. Actually, he's 138 right now.
Oh, that's right. He needs the strike. And he got it.
Okay.
Strike on spare, 148, 400. It's funny, we both made the same adding mistake, but it doesn't matter now.
No, actually, you made the adding mistake, and I agreed with your mistake.
Well, all Dave did was get 67 pins in the last 3 boxes. Spare for Jack Saniuk. So Dave Richards has a chance to do what no one else has done this year on Stars and Strikes, and that is come all the way up the ladder in singles. We've had 2 teams do it in doubles, winning 4 shows in a row. but nobody's done it in singles yet. Oh, my.
That's the Jack Saniuk we know, but they all seem to go when it's mathematically over. Even if you're close to them, they go down. This time was a great shot. Just dances the 6-pin all the way over.
That would have gone without the wood. Fine shot by Jack. Got off to a bit of a slow start, though, today, and Dave Richards didn't really give him an opportunity to get back in. A 7, a 130, and a 333 for Jack Saniuk. Dave Richards makes it 3 in a row. We're going to see if we can give away $200 in the bonus ball contest when we come back. Don't go away. Welcome back to Candlepin Stars and Strikes here at Park Place Lanes. And remember 2 weeks ago, if you were with us, Dave Richards came up with that very narrow win by just 7 pins in his first match against John Plant. And we said, well, sometimes if you get that kind of lucky one, the one maybe that you think you don't deserve, all of a sudden good things can start happening. And now look, he's going to be rolling for the championship next week.
Yeah, sometimes that begins of a good streak. And then he was actually hitting the head pin a lot that match too, but he just wasn't getting them. Today he's making the cut shots. He got a few breaks. He got the extra pin. And whatever whammy he had, he gave it to Jack.
The good news for Dave is that his scores have gone up each week and his mark totals have gone up each week.
I don't know if that's good or bad. You know, you due to come down. I mean, 400 this week was great bowling, and with the number 1 seed coming in next week, you probably need another score just like that.
All right, let's talk to both bowlers. First of all, a round of applause for Jack Saniuk, who will come on up to receive a third-place check for $250. And turn around, Jack. We do have some time to talk, but
thanks.
Perhaps you'd like to talk about golf, maybe. Congratulations on Dan told the story about what happened last summer. Got to be very pleased with that.
Yeah, had a great summer golfing. Maybe I should have spent a little more time over here, but that's borderline embarrassing. That might even be embarrassing. But what can I do? Dave jumped ahead, and then as bad as I was bowling, I missed the head pin. I hit the head pin. I got nothing to shoot at, and hey, that's part of the game.
Yeah, he never really gave you an opening either.
No, but I mean, when he even did. It just wasn't there today.
Yeah.
Nothing was going to happen today.
Well, just don't wait 3 years until you come back. That's the thing.
I mean, if I'm going to bowl like this, then I'm not going to be back.
Jack, thanks very much. Always good to see you. Congratulations. All right, Jack Saniuk takes third place in this series. And now the big moment as we have Dave Richards. Now, both Dan and I have a good feeling about this, right?
Yes. Well, he has to help. I mean, if he's going to throw 2 or 3 on this ball, it's not going to help us out at all.
No pressure at all, Dave. $200 in the bonus ball contest. We've thoroughly stirred up the drum again, and it is 8. Let's see. Let's do it, Dan.
I think you needed 7, but I don't know.
Let's see. No, you needed 9. Teresa Pratt from Hudson, New Hampshire. Thanks very much for the entry. Her guess was 9, so that means we're up to $210 next week. And guess who'll be here next week? Dave Richards. Slide right in here, Dave, so we can get you on camera. Congratulations. The scores are going up, and boy, you really had things cranking today.
Yeah, finally, I'm starting to feel a little bit more comfortable from the past 2 weeks. Just trying to steer it in, and then finally, I just letting the ball go, and it's working now.
Have you changed anything substantially from 2 weeks ago to now?
Just the scores. But basically, no, I haven't changed anything. Just feel a little bit more relaxed now.
Well, I don't know if you heard me mention it earlier, but no one this year has been able to win 4 shows in a row on singles. It's happened a couple times on doubles, but not on singles. And next week, of course, you'll have a shot, and Dan Broder will be here as the number 1 seed.
Well, thanks for putting the pressure on me.
Sure.
I mean,
anytime.
Hey, just go out there and throw my 3 games. That's all I can do.
We'll see you then.
Thank you very much.
All right, Dave, congratulations once again. Another big win for Dave Richards, and a final look at the ladder before we leave you. 2 bowlers left, number 1 and number 5. Dave Richards has won 3 in a row with the 400 game today, and now he gets a shot at Dan Broder in that number 1 spot.
And Dan Broder's been bowling very well. He's made the show several times in the doubles, and of course, Dave is on a roll too, so it's an interesting matchup next week.
Now, of course, the winner of that match next week gets the 6th and final qualifying spot into the Tri-State Megabucks Singles Tournament of Champions, and here are the 5 who have already made it. And, of course, this is when it gets interesting next week at the end of the show because we start watching for that total score. We have 3 400 triples already in the Tournament of Champions and a terrific lineup already. And one of those two guys that we just mentioned, Dan Broder or Dave Richards, will join them.
Yes, you got the added pressure of the match itself, trying to win the match and win the prize money there, but also as the match progresses and you know you're in a position to win, then what do you do with that final score?
Plus, we have now $210 in the bonus ball contest next weekend. Next weekend, we're going to have a lot of fun. Don't miss any of the action because Saturday at noon at the Londonderry Bowling Center, we'll have our 4th and final week of Candlepin Skins, where we give away all the rest of that prize money. And then next Sunday here from Park Place Lanes in Windham at 12 noon, we'll be back with the championship match here on Stars and Strikes between Dan Broder and Dave Richards. Until next weekend then, for Dan Murphy and the whole Winds of New England crew, I'm Doug Brown. Have a great week, everybody.